Oh, hey, we're
Right?
live. Hey, how's it going, Paleo FX Tribe? I was just sitting here talking to my good friend Mo Brosette, who's just north of me in Dallas right now. Mo, how's it going?
What's up, Keith? I'm doing excellent, man. Having a
Right.
great
We
day.
just saw somebody peek their head around the door, which was kind of funny as we were going through the countdown right over Mo's shoulder.
Oh,
Um, super excited to have Mo back at Paleo FX, having him lead some workshops because Mo, I like the way that you integrate both the endurance side of things, the endurance training part, but you also are very adept at movement and recovery and positioning and all of these things that not many people in the endurance world talk about. And
yeah.
I don't even know if they recognize it as a necessary component of fitness.
Hmm.
But even if they do, they don't say anything about it. But you
Right.
do, and you do incorporate it into your training. Tell us a little bit about your training.
Well, so my background is in exercise science and kinesiology. I was a strength coach in college, and outside after that, I became a professional personal trainer and have been in the industry for over 24 years now. And I learned early on about the importance of proper human movement and what we're capable of doing. And I was very fortunate early on in my career to be able to work with some of the literally the best trainers and coaches in the industry around the world that came to Dallas and went to some other places for studying, and was able to learn a lot about human movement. And through my education, found that a lot of injuries that come about with people, unless it's blunt force trauma, almost 100% of the time it's a muscular imbalance. And it's a muscular imbalance because we lose such range of motion as adults. Like, I'm sitting in a chair right now,
Right.
and unfortunately for most people, that is the end of the range of motion for us. So we should theoretically be able to squat down, drop our butt to our ankles, and be in that crouched position. But just because life catches up to us and we stop those global movement patterns, we lose that flexibility and the mobility, and that leads to muscular imbalances, and that's what leads to the injuries of our joints.
Right. And so is this what the whole MOGA idea is about?
Yeah,
MOGA? Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So the reason I created Moga was my background also is in endurance sports. I was an elite level adventure racer for 8 years. I was a triathlon coach. I raced Ironman triathlon for 10 years. And as of 2014, transitioned into obstacle course racing. But what I found in my time as a triathlete and triathlon coach is that, yes, people were insanely fast swimming, biking, and running. But you ask someone like that to do a squat without their knees collapsing in
Right.
and them being super kyphotic, and it was damn near impossible. So I knew that there had to be something done with that to correct that. And man, you know this from being in the fitness industry, we don't need harder workouts. Like we don't need to go get crushed anymore. What we need to do is learn to recover better, and we need to learn to move. So I created Moga as a way to incorporate recovery through mindset, breath, and movement all together to enhance the recovery process. So whether you are an Ironman triathlete or you are a busy executive with not a lot of time to move and you spend most of your day sitting, Moga is exactly what you need because it's a combination of animal flow, some yoga movements, and just mobility movements that some I've kind of come up with, I think, and some that I've
Right.
found, but they're all done in a specific manner and order to promote opening up the anterior portion of your body while strengthening the posterior chain.
Mhm.
So everything that you do is involved with breath, mind, and extension and flexion of the posterior chain. And I've gotten great results from it. My endurance athletes, my executives that I work with that have used Moga have all reported increased mobility, reduced joint pain, and improved recovery rate as well.
Right. I cannot wait to introduce you to a very good friend of mine, Bert Massey.
Yeah.
Back when I was in the more into the gym business, which I'm not anymore,
Hmm.
thanks to Paleo FX
Yeah.
taking off like it has and sucking up every bit of time every bit of spare time that I had. But Bert was a trainer, still is a trainer with that chain of gyms.
Hmm.
But you guys think along the same lines. He's a very adept trainer, and I this is one of the things that I really love about Paleo FX is getting people like this who are leaders in their field and getting them together and letting them rub shoulders and trade
Mhm.
some ideas, because that's where the excitement is, man. And that's
Yeah.
where so many new ideas are born, and trade of knowledge like that. And the attendees are front and center and get to pick up on that stuff, which is super, super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been a great it's been fun to teach it, especially now with the adaptive athletes that I work with. You know, you have a wheelchair bound athlete, whether they're veteran
Mm,
or civilian. It's a challenge for them because they are also in that kyphonic rolled position, or
right,
you have an amputee, and again they have these imbalances, and you've got to be able to work through that because we have to be able to move, right? So it's about creating, and Moga is also about it's a systematic approach, but it's a systematic approach that's designed for the individual, you know.
right,
And there are certain movements, certain patterns of movements that are kind of globally good for everyone, but it's also very individualized as it needs to be, you know, because again, you take an executive or you take someone in a wheelchair, it's similar, the things that you have to work on to open up the body, and because it promotes digestion. I didn't really realize that until I started working with a lot
mm,
of these folks that are in wheelchairs. You know, we have standing chairs that get them upright, like the ability for peristalsis, for all the things that flow through the digestive tract, and your internal organs to function properly, function better when we're upright, when we're in an extended position. So the more we can get our bodies in those movement patterns, the better our body processes food, the better we eliminate waste, and the better our overall health becomes.
right. That's fantastic, and that might be a great segue quickly for you to talk about the work you do, the nonprofit work that you do with the vets.
Yeah. So my job up here is I'm one of the directors at the Adaptive Training Foundation based in Dallas. We're in Carrollton, and what we do is we have a flagship program. It's a 9-week program called Redefine, where we work with wounded military veterans and civilians that have had either multiple amputations from serving in country, from IED blasts,
Mhm.
or from car accidents back here in the States, spinal cord injuries, neurological diseases. We've had 3 Parkinson's patients come through our
Wow.
program. We've had a multitude of stroke patients come through our program. But it's a 9-week program where we work with them physically, mentally, nutritionally, and emotionally, and it's called Redefine. And what my job is with them is to get them when they first come in for the workouts. So we work out 3 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. When they first come in, they see me for 15 minutes, and I work with them on everything revolving mindset and breath. So we start
Mm,
with breathing and the importance of breath, and then we work through systematically through the course of the 9 weeks the importance of facing your fears, of failure,
mm.
of handling objections and obstacles. And what we do is say, you know, you take military veterans and you say, hey guys, we're going to go meditate. They're going to show you one of these.
Right, right,
You know what I
right,
mean? Like
right.
if I say, hey guys, look, but you all like to shoot rifles, right? Like, yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
Well, you know, when you're aiming down range and you're breathing and you're focused on the target, guess what you're doing? You're
right,
meditating. Like, oh,
right.
okay. So we find a way to relate it that they already know they're doing it. So then I say, okay, you know, here's how I want you to overcome this obstacle in the gym, because people, they feel safe in this space, right?
Right.
They feel safe here. So they may face failure on the first week because we're trying a bunch of new things with them. And I say, okay, now when we come back at the end of the workout, how can you do that outside of the gym? How can you do that when you are in life? You know, when you have an argument with
Right.
your wife or your husband or you're in traffic. Because what we found in our program is that, look, it's great to help people get stronger and to get them moving. But if we can't fix what's between the ears and we can't fix the human inside, then the 9 weeks is irrelevant. You know, lifting weights and being
Right.
fast and losing weights is pointless if you go home and things happen and you can't handle that situation. So it's been such an honor for me to be a part of this organization. I mean, look, Keith, we've had a Parkinson's patient who couldn't walk across the floor day one. 9 weeks later, he could stop a Parkinson's tremor within 40 seconds by focusing on mindset and breath. And I've got a video of him doing that. We've several of our quadriplegic athletes that were wheelchair bound before our program during the course of the 9 weeks walked for the first time. You
Right.
know, and it's things like that that when you surround yourself with the right type of enablers and you get the right mindset, literally the impossible is almost not relevant anymore.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and it's so that's what I get to do up here. And that's what spawned a lot of this with Moga as well. and my job as a mindset coach, because if I can show a Parkinson's patient how to literally stop their tremors for a period of time, or a quadriplegic walk again, when someone said you're never going to walk again, and here they are walking and now not using their wheelchairs anymore.
Right.
Imagine what it can do for everybody else if you just tap into that potential.
Right. That is such powerful, powerful work that you're doing. And
Yeah.
by the way, do you know Dave Potswald at RealFit?
I don't.
Dave
No.
Potswald, he's in the Dallas area too. Remind me at Paleo FX to introduce you guys, because I think there's some great collaboration there between you two. That would be fantastic. He'll be running his company runs the Real Fit test score. And so they at this Paleo FX, they'll be doing like a fitness midway, essentially. So they'll have various exercises set up that people can compete in and earn prizes in. It's a very, very cool concept. But his Real Fit test score is an evaluation of different exercises in a comparison model. Okay. And I think for you and your demographic, it would be fantastic. Anyway, I don't want to go off on a tangent on that, but I think there's some great collaborative potential there. Absolutely. So tell us about your workshop at Paleo FX. What are you planning on doing?
Yeah. So, man, look, when we did this, I did this 2 years ago. I wasn't able to make it last year, but when I did it 2 years ago, I'll be honest with you, I was in the back room and had the space set up, and I was so nervous. I was like, nobody knows what this is. No, they say Mogan. They're like, what in the hell is this?
Right.
But it was great. It turned out we were at capacity. Everyone loved it, had great feedback. So what you're going to get during this workshop is what I talked about at the first of this. I'm going to take you through a systematic series of movements that focus on first the mind and then the breath. And then through the mind and the breath, you're going to go through these movement patterns. And we're going to open you up. You're going to feel recovered. You're going to feel gratitude. You're going to feel refreshed. And you'll be able to move better at the end of this.
Right.
It's any athlete. And if you're a human, you have a body, you're an athlete. So anyone of any level is very welcome. We can modify this to any degree needed. So you can expect to just really feel good at the end of this. We're going to open the body up. We're going to expose tightnesses. We're going to expose weak points in your mobility. So expect that, right? Expect to kind of go into this, and it's almost in the mindset of facing fears. This is going to be you facing that. Well, this is a bit uncomfortable, but I know I need to stay here. And we don't push you to the point of pain at all. Again, this is not a workout. This is a recovery mobility series.
Right.
So you'll learn how you can incorporate this before a workout. You're going to learn how you can incorporate this as a daily part of your activity. If you're traveling before work, you can do this during work, and at any time that you need to through the course of your day or your training.
Well, I wanted to go to your workshop the first time that you had it, because I personally want to integrate this type of thing into my own training.
Yeah.
Because I realize the need for it, but I always, revert to what I know, right? Yeah. I know the weight room. I know that. I know cycling. I know that. So I always revert to what I know. But I know that I need the movement element.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm probably better than most about that, but I'm not great at it. For sure, I'm not great. And, maybe probably not even good at it. I'm at the point where what we would call it problem aware. Right? I'm problem aware. So at least I'm that far. But yeah, I really personally, on a personal level, really want to do this and really want to learn more about it as well, because it is so important. And even I think people who have not trained athletes or been around athletes think that athletes are these bulletproof mechanisms, and that they're I know they are not. They're far from it. They are very highly attuned to one specific task. And it could be argued that, maybe football players, rugby players, something like that, are a little bit more well-rounded.
Yeah.
But they're still specialized units, right? They still have a job to do, and which makes them very, very good in one particular activity and very, very bad in others. And if that sporting environment puts them in that bad position at the wrong time, that's where injuries happen.
Yeah.
and so from that respect, being more of a well-rounded human is so helpful on the injury prevention side of things, not to mention the health and wellness side as
Absolutely.
well. Yeah.
It works on all fronts, man. Our founder at ATF, David Vobora, he played 6 years in the NFL, and he's same thing, like the mobility piece of that as an athlete, and myself, as a triathlete, there was a point in time where my range of motion, my shoulder was terrible. I couldn't do the wall slide test. Like this was the length of my mobility where it should have been up here, because I was so forward pulling. I could swim like crazy, and I was really fast on the bike and the run, but I had zero mobility. And that's where I knew, like, man, I got to do something to correct this. So, you're exactly right. Elite athletes, all of us, we need to increase our mobility, because that is what's going to save us, and that's what's going to keep us healthier.
Right. And I hate to pick on cyclists, but it just from my point of view, and I'm surrounded by them here in Austin, Texas. But they look so beautiful when they are riding. Right, when they're actually on the machine, and you're just like, wow. I mean, they're just one with the bike. But as soon as they get off, it's like, what is that? What kind of walk is that? What kind of stance is it? I mean, they're in a bad way. And I don't mean to pick on cyclists. They're just easy because they're around me all the time.
No, I get it. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's just one indication of, put them just slightly out of their environment, and they are just a accident waiting to happen.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. And that's the whole thing. Again, I want you to be good at your sport, but I need you to be good at life, because at the end of the day, we've got to live and we've got to move. So, unless you're a professional, and even if you are a professional in your sport, at some point that time is going to come to an end. What are you going to do? How are you going to be able to get down on the ground and play with your grandkids? Can you bend down and pick up moving boxes without throwing out your back? So that's what this is about, creating a better human being all around. Because again, whether you're a professional or you're just a person trying to be fit, we've got to have that mobility.
Right. And was there any one instance in your personal career, or was this just a building problem aware thing of you that, wow, I'm losing mobility in my shoulder, I'm losing this, I'm losing that? Is that what made you come to this idea?
I noticed it myself pretty early on because of my background. I would start to recognize movement patterns in myself, so I started to self-correct. But the more I started to step back and observe other athletes, I was really noticing just these just grossly obscene movement patterns, tightnesses and balances, and I just thought, I've got to do something to correct this, and nobody is talking about this. In the endurance world, no one is doing this. In obstacle course racing, it's a little bit more proficient because they do teach animal flow movement. They do teach range of motion and mobility, but runners, triathletes, a lot of other professional athletes or other sports don't. So just in my observing of other people doing these things, and it's just watching their movement patterns, I knew I had to do something and create a system of movement to fix the problem.
Right.
And that's how Mogo came to be.
Right. I don't know how much you follow football, but as an example of this, so wow, I'm starting to lose track of time now. When did RG3 come out of Baylor? I can't remember. Let's say 8 years ago, maybe. Time is flying by, so it's hard for me to. So anyway, when he was at the combine, there was a picture taking of him doing a vertical jump, right? And it showed him on landing, and it showed his knees just going, right? Fabulous athlete. I mean, incredible athletic ability. But I remember on the message boards after that, everybody who was really up in strength and conditioning was like, ACL waiting to happen.
Yep.
Look at that knee position. And sure enough, what happened after a couple of years, and he's out of the league now because of that. And I always wondered if he would have been exposed to something like this early on. I mean, that's a correctable thing.
Yeah,
easily correct. I mean, he'd have to work on it, obviously, but it's not like rocket science. I mean, you just need to be shown what to do and keep up with it.
Yeah,
which is, in his case, that's an ended career, and who knows how many millions of dollars left on the table. Yeah,
absolutely, man, 100%. And Again, that's the reason behind this thing. That's when people see RG3 or they see these guys and they're like, oh man, these guys are the pinnacle of their career in athleticism. But if you really look and you're able to observe like we are, you can see that that's just an accident waiting to happen. And that costs them millions of dollars, and for a lot of other people, that costs you your health and your livelihood. I've known a
Right.
lot of people that have gotten injured, and they just get depressed, they get sad, they lose hope, they lose the drive to continue to
Right.
grow, and that's when aging really starts to happen.
Yes.
you know so it's just, we're tracking on the same page, man. And
Right.
that's why it's so important for people to understand this, and then the mindset behind it as well. If you can get your mind right, then everything else falls into place.
And I love that aspect as well. Mindset is everything. I kind of fashion myself as a habit change guy,
Yeah.
because really, that's, and we always say, if more information were the answer, we'd all be billionaires with six-pack abs. So it's the right information, yes, but it's the application of that information, and that's really, really where it's at. So number one, how can people find out more about you? How can they find out more about Moga?
Yes.
And we'll talk about the PaleoFX site in just a second, but let's talk about you. How can people find out more about you?
Yeah. So a couple ways. If you want to track me down for my mindset coaching, you can go to brosetteperformance.com. That's where I'll have my application for coaching. I do corporate speaking. I do talking on leadership, stress management, etc. at brosetteperformance.com. That's also the Instagram handle. For anything related to endurance, you can go to link, LINK, like a link in a chain, endurance.com. I also have a Facebook page, Link Endurance, and then on Instagram as well, Link Endurance.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And for everybody who's coming to PaleoFX, make sure that you get signed up for Mo's workshop. You do not want to miss it. You'll have to beat me out. I think I have an in, so I know a guy, so I'm going to do whatever I can to be there. This is the one thing that's tough for me at PaleoFX is I want to do all these things, right? Because wow, it's right in my backyard. It's our show.
Yeah.
And it never works out that way because I'm always busy, doing whatever with the show.
Many great things.
There's so many things, but I'm going to make a point to on the app, on our PaleoFX app, to start your workshop, because I'm really excited about this. I think it's very, very important. And just self-servingly, I know I need it myself.
And I can't wait to see you there.
Right. And I can't wait to see everybody there. I know it's very, very exciting for us to have you back again this year. And you and your wife.
Yes, thank you.
And so we should probably mention that. You should talk a little bit about your wife and how you guys do this, do the 1-2 thing.
Absolutely. So it's great. Her background is in personal training. She is a nutritionist now solely, and but she was with me when I created the concept of Moga. And a lot of times, what I will do is, so I can walk around and correct individuals, she is my demonstrator up front.
Right.
So we just have a great synergy and we flow together very well. We do a Facebook Live every Monday night on my personal Facebook page, Morris Brosette, on random health topics. And so if you ever want to check that out as well,
right.
We do it Mondays at 8. But she's a phenomenal person with regards to nutrition and with human movement as well. So having us there together is just it's really fun. So you get to hear my lovely, beautiful voice, and you get to see her beautiful self up front.
Okay, awesome, great. I love that. I love teamwork like that. That's so cool. All right, well, Mo, I cannot wait to see you and your wife at PaleoFX. I look very, very forward to taking part in the workshop. And for everybody out there in the PaleoFX world, make sure you check out Mo's workshop. It's going to be freaking awesome and much, much needed. Yes. All right, Mo, I will let you get back to your busy day. And right, I cannot wait to see you here in a few short weeks.
Absolutely. See you soon.
Yeah, man. Peace out. PaleoFX, we will see you soon. Bye-bye.